I'm gonna phrase this like this. Remember, better times, 2017, when the Eagles won the Super Bowl and Jason Kelsey goes, "Oh, some clown named Mike Lombardi." Now, why do I bring that up, Six of the Universe? Because if the Sixers win the title, Keith Pompey offered to be the Mike Lombardi of the Philadelphia 76ers. So I did not know this until Jerome B made a comment about it post game after the victory over the Utah Jazz, where Jerome B called out King Pompey for writing, actually writing with a straight face. No, not really writing, not using pencil or pens anymore. Literally typing with a straight face, with an honest to God straight face. That Joel Embiid is afraid of elite competition. Absolute bullshit. I mean, bullshit. This guy has dominated every big man entering the league almost. Everyone was wondering, what about the Marcus Gasol? What about the Marcus Gasol? So LA comes here. We play LA here. They're fully healthy at this time. LeBron James, the whole thing, the Joel Embiid back, and Anthony Davis. You have the so-called Godfather Marcus Gasol, and Joel Embiid puts 30 on their asses. So don't give me this shit about Joel Embiid being afraid of elite centers, okay? Because this is not true. This guy has been dominating the NBA. Doesn't matter what center you put on him. They tried Daniel Tice. They had Wendell Carter Jr. for the Bulls, and he started off well and then ended up, This guy has dominated the front lines of every NBA team this year to where he's the unanimous MVP. As long as he doesn't miss, I think he can only really afford to miss 2 to 4 more games. So as long as he runs this regular season out the way that he is, fully healthy, Joel Embiid will be the unanimous MVP. The guy is putting up Wilt Chamberlain numbers. This is not the time to be coming out with an article of, oh, he's afraid of elite centers. And then the excuse of elite centers, Andre Drummond? First of all, go look on Hoop Site. It's a website. The Cavaliers can't even get a second round pick for Andre Drummond. And you're sitting here calling him an elite center? This isn't 2014 anymore. He's not an elite center. He's a role player. He's not an elite center. Jonas Valanciunas? Come on, man. You're reaching for straws. You're reaching for straws here. Elite center. And then he brings up Nikola Jokic. But remember that the Nuggets game was the game of the protocol. It is the game that many of us affectionately refer to the Tyrese Maxey show-out game. That's the kind of game that was. So how can you blame Joel Embiid for missing that game when he's held out due to COVID League protocols? How do you do that? Not only is the take bad on its merit that one of the best centers in the NBA is afraid of top centers, which is just ridiculous, but to do it when the guy is averaging 30 and 11, and he's basically in a tussle with Nikola Jokic for a leader in per. Some days it's Embiid, some days it's Jokic, so both of them are leading the league in per. Both centers are the most efficient players in basketball this year, and you're trying to tell me, and trying to tell the Philadelphia sports community that Joel Embiid is afraid of top centers. Bullshit! It's bullshit. It has no basis in fact. The man has dominated literally from the first game that he played against Oklahoma City. This guy has been a workhorse for Philadelphia. And even when it comes to this whole health thing, for example, a lot of it has been freak accidents. Markelle Fultz runs into his face. The guy gets a broken shoulder or a sprained shoulder, last season. It's been crap like that. Pinky finger. What? Even Embiid had to be thinking to himself, all of this free crap is crap. When am I going to get a break? When am I going to get a season where no freak accident. And it was honestly looking like this year up until Ben LeBron James shoved this guy in the back. Excuse me with my mixing of names. So up until LeBron James shoves Joel Embiid in the back, it was looking like that kind of year. Still is. Of the 40 games, he played 34 of them. That is literally a 74% play. You play 74% of the schedule. So when these writers talk about the missed games, what they're not seeing the other side of it, that Joel Embiid has played the most games to date as far as how you start out a season. He's actually been very dependably healthy this year. So this whole notion of it's the same old story with regard to missed games, that's just not true. That's just not true. And you have these analysts bringing it up. You know, I sometimes watch Undisputed and First Take and some of these others, and it's like, you talk about these missed games as though he'd missed 14 or 15 or 16. No, he's only missed 6. He's only missed 6. And he's never really missed 2 consecutively, to my knowledge. It's always been he missed 1, and he plays 4 or 5 straight, then he misses another 1, and he plays another 4 or 5 straight. So he's been reliable playing these back-to-backs. It's a condensed schedule. Joel Embiid has been a workhorse, especially this season. So to attack Joel Embiid's health during this MVP candidacy, I just think that's unfair. I now think that you're holding him to a standard that you're not holding LeBron to, and that you're not holding other players to. And I find that unfair. I find that unfair. Now, I don't want to be salty like the Utah Jazz, but I will admit, I'm salty. I'm salty that LeBron doesn't get that kind of scrutiny. I'm salty. Oh, James Harden is now. Look at the Nets' schedule. When we play bad teams, you wanna know what the question was? By even people in the city, oh, what happens when they play someone for real? But when the Nets beat up on the same bottom dwellers that we beat up on, ooh, here comes the Nets, ooh, here comes the Nets. Now, they did have a couple of decent teams in the middle there. Phoenix, 28-point comeback. Lakers without Anthony Davis, I guess. But come on! They had a soft schedule, and I'm not taking anything. Win the games you're supposed to win, and the Brooklyn Nets did that. Congratulations to them. That's not what I'm saying, Brooklyn fans. What I'm saying is, if we get the scrutiny for beating bad teams, then no one should be like, the Brooklyn Nets are the best team in basketball. For beating up on the Memphis Grizzlies, or the Portland Trail Blazers, or losing to the Dallas Mavericks, okay? You have 40 games left in the season, in the second schedule. Let Brooklyn play this out before we go anointing the Brooklyn Nets. That's my thought there. And I agree with everyone that Keith Pompey has just made himself a fraud. You literally made yourself into the Mike Lombardi if the Sixers win the championship. Like, if the Sixers win the championship and there's a parade, Joel Embiid is going to mention your name again in the parade speech. Just be prepared for that, because you put yourself there. So All-Star Weekend happened, and it didn't happen yet, but the All-Star Draft happened, and I don't know about you, but I think I speak for all of Philadelphia when I say we absolutely killed over in laughter at LeBron James' answer. Oh, well, the truth is, even in video games, no one ever picked the Jazz. The reason why that's so funny is that that's so goddamn true. I was an NBA Live guy for video games. Don't knock it. I feel like NBA Live has a better FIFA system than NBA 2K. You know, that whole... I could never do that. I could never do that with that remote. I couldn't. So at least when NBA live, you could just press the button for shooting and it had the little sidebar. I could time the sidebar with pressing the button as opposed to the whole joystick nonsense. So NBA Live had a better FIFA shooting system, and I thought that they also had a better GM interface. So I was an NBA Live guy, EA Sports for most of it. And my point of that is that I never once picked the Utah Jazz. And it wasn't just Stockton and Malone. They had Carlos Boozer for a time. They had Darren Williams and Andre Karolinko. But who gave a shit, right? That's what LeBron and KD were saying, and Charles, and they were all laughing it. And, and it was just ironic given the timing. No less than 24 hours after we beat their ass. I just find that hilarious. I find that completely and utterly hilarious. But that being said, as I said in the post-game review, and, it turned out being for different reasons. There were different missed calls. But there were 6 missed calls total in the final 2 minutes. Adam Silver, you had to fix this. This is happening across the league. And I mentioned this a couple of times in 6 review videos, where we're not getting good calls. But this is an around the league problem now. Devin Booker getting tossed for nothing. Draymond Green getting teed up. J.J. Redick got technical fouled for the way he flipped the ball to the referee. What is this, Adam? What is this? What is this, Adam Silver? Fix the NBA. This is the problem. I mean, you had me agreeing with Stephen A. Smith. This is a problem to the integrity of the league. Where if you're going to have these referees technical fouling these star guys, like, you mentioned the TV ratings and you're struggling, or you're at 1.7%. Big whoop. Like, I'm sure that over 100 million Americans have a television set, and you're barely drawing in maybe less than 300,000. Why is that? Well, could be, excuse me, it could be the technical fouls, it could be ejections, it could be players getting to the FIFA line, and as much of that benefits us for Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons getting to the FIFA line, I can see how a non-Sixer fan would be like, oh my God, just let them play. And I agree with that for the large part, actually. Let guys play unless it's a foul. If you're slapping Embiid's wrist, it's a foul. If you're kneeing Joel Embiid, literally, Rudy Gobert's leg pushed into Embiid's leg as well as the shoulder. When you consider the contact of the forearm and the knee, it's obviously then a foul. Go look at the knee. So that was obviously a foul. But then, before then, it was a travel in reality on Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris lifted his pivot foot, and the refs couldn't call it or didn't see it. And I acknowledge that. See, here's the difference between Utah and Philadelphia. We in Philadelphia, we're real. If Tobias traveled, Tobias traveled. I will be up here in a minute, we got away with one. And that's not just me saying it. I will put my money that the entire Philadelphia sports YouTube community will come out and say it. I've been blessed, I've been fortunate to be a part of this YouTube Philly community. And, making some friends. I honestly think of us as friends. And I know that a lot of them would say the same thing. If Tobias walked, Tobias walked. And that's the gist of it. So I'm not afraid of saying that. People should also not be afraid of, okay, Rudy pushed him in the back. And not only that, but before that he pushed Ben Simmons in the back. That was the one I noticed. I wanted to call there. Although, to be honest, Embiid going to people line, even though Ben Simmons has been shooting people a lot better, but Joel Embiid getting people line better than Ben Simmons getting people line, like crucial situation, obviously, so that worked out for us. But I'm just saying that Ben got hacked before he hacked Embiid, so a foul should have been called there regardless. And obviously, a travel should have been called before any of that. It is what it is. The point I was trying to get back to, both fan bases suffered, okay? The Jazz fan base, you guys suffered. We suffered. The game suffered. That's the main bottom point. The NBA officials are ruining the game. Number 1 seed of the East, number 1 seed versus the West. That kind of game should not have what occurred. game should not have what occurred. What that game should have is a fairly officiated, tight game, and that's what it was up until the fourth quarter and overtime. Up until the fourth quarter overtime. I mean, you even heard Donovan Mitchell say it, where they don't complain. They put their head down, and for the most part, that's true. For the most part of the game, the Utah Jazz fought, the Sixers fought for 48 of the 53 minutes. It was a good game. Or 45 so minutes. It was a great game between two good teams. But then the refs had to ruin it for both of us. If the Utah Jazz win legitimately, let the Utah Jazz win legitimately. Okay, we have things to address. And we still do, in my opinion. And hopefully, I heard the PJ Tucker. Oh my God, hell no. Go look at this guy's numbers. Forget what his reputation was. Go look at his numbers. And it's not like this dude is not getting opportunities. He's getting 30 minutes a night. He's playing 10 more minutes than he ever hated Danny Green. And this guy is seriously putting up, wait for it, 4 points and 4 rebounds. No! If you do get him, you'll end up sticking him toward the end of the bench. Is he worth a roster spot at this point in his career? No. He's not. He sucks. Sorry to say it. Now, I hope that he gets revived by coming to Philadelphia, starts putting in some shots, starts making his numbers somewhat respectable. He'll never get 30, and that's actually kind of scary. If you're not producing in 30 minutes a night on a team that because of lack of talent you should be putting up numbers anyway, if you can't put numbers up there, what makes us think that you can make a positive impact in 10, 15 minutes for a championship contending Sixers team? You can't. So no thank you. No thank you to Illinois. No thank you to PJ Tucker. No thanks. The guy can't get any production on one of the worst teams in basketball on 30 minutes a night, and he's supposed to come off our bench and help this bench problem? No, I don't think so. Like every other Sixer fan, in fact, as you know, I made 2 videos on it. I am hoping and praying and crossing my fingers for Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry, he literally made another audition for Philadelphia, bite the bullet, make a big 4, get to a championship with 19 assists last night. Or the other night, they lose to the Celtics. But 19 assists, only 3 turnovers. When have you ever seen literally anyone do something like that? This dude is aging like fine wine, as the saying goes. You can drink the wine of Kyle Lowry and it tastes just as pristine as it did when this kid was a choice 7-year-old hooper. This kid, he legitimately has another 3 years left at a high level in the NBA. And that's actually in line with the contract he asked for. 2 to 3 years, I give it to him. I believe that Kyle Lowry could play at a max level for another 2 years. Easily. You get an all-star 3-and-D point guard. You can lock up the other wing. Really, that's the thing that the Sixers are missing. Remember that Doc Rivers says, I want to save Ben Simmons to the second half. And you're here with Danny Green, Burkhan Korkmaz, Mike Scott, etc. But you put Kyle Lowry there, and Kyle Lowry can lock up most wings. And then you can use Ben Simmons for the second half, and with Matisse Thybulle. So you're going to upgrade your defense, and you're going to massively upgrade your offense with such an amazing passer, a shooter, a guy who can sometimes attack the paint, not always 6 foot in either size, but sometimes gets in the lane a little bit. So you get a substantially more complete basketball player than Danny Green ever was. You substantially upgrade that point guard position. Ben Simmons can be a pick-and-roll power forward, and we all see what Ben Simmons does once he's in that pick-and-roll forward type of spot. We see him putting up 30 a game. So it isn't just the Kyle Lowry substantial upgrade over Danny Green. He will make Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, and Tobias Harris that much better. Literally opening up scoring opportunities for our big 3. So I am crossing my fingers there will Morey overpay. There are so very few times that overpaying is justified. When you get a guy who will put you on the cusp of an NBA championship, that's what you overpay for. That's what you overpay for. Now, I'm not going to be like, oh, fuck that boy if you don't get him. No. But I'm saying that the opportunity cost is right. The opportunity cost is right. The player is right. And the price, in my opinion, is right. Bring this home if you can. Bring it home. Perfect fit, perfect system, perfect player. And we're at the stage where we can't be worried about young guys right now. We really can't. We're a contender, we're not a rebuilder. Maybe in 3 or 4 years, we go and draft a 19-year-old with promise. But right now, it's just, you see what it's doing. It's wasting a roster spot on the bench. It's unfortunate. I think he has a lot of upside, but you can't tap into that upside, which makes it for you virtually worthless. It is what it is. Go get the in-prime, all-star level point guard, make a big four, get yourself to the NBA Finals for the first time in 20 years. Massive step forward. It's a step you always wanted to take, and the opportunity is right there. So, what was initially kind of reacting to everyone else's reactions on, Keith Pompey making himself into the Mike Lombardi of Sixer basketball, turned into sort of a mini approach to all things, the All-Star Weekend trade deadline, etc. Will we get Bill Jelka from the Kings? If you don't get a Kyle Lowry, or the Raptors say they're not going to trade Kyle Lowry, is it going to be a guy like Buddy Hield? Buddy had been on and off this year, mostly off, but you played next to Ben Simmons, and that might change a lot of things for Buddy Hield, who knows? I'm basically very open-minded to the trade deadline, very similarly to how I was open on who was going to replace the idiot. Because he is an idiot. Brett was an idiot, and therefore, I did not mind who it was. The fact that it was one of the Hall of Fame coaches in Doc Rivers is gold, right? It's just gold. This is everything. This is my thoughts leading up to the trade deadline, leading up to second half of the year. These last 40 games. Hopefully, Joel Embiid comes in strong, secures that MVP, and, obviously there is a bigger goal. Joel Embiid wants the best player of the year. I think he or Ben Simmons should be the best player of the year. Literally, those two guys combined locked down Luka Doncic. No one else has combined to lock down Luka Doncic. We have we have mostly done well against every major marquee matchup defensively. I mean, they're the reason you're 24-12. They're the reason you're number one in the conference. And it's those two guys on the defensive end of the ball. It's those two guys on defense. So, hopefully we get our awards. I was going to hopefully, we all thought that maybe 6-man, right? But Jordan Clarkson kind of has his tentacles around that one. If anything, Jordan Clarkson should be making an All-Star game over Rudy Gobert. Like, what is Rudy Gobert is he doing in there? But this is Sixers Universe. Peace, everyone.